So I like I like I like when people tell the truth, even if they're just kidding around and acting like they're just joking. I mean, that's like the best way to start telling the truth now, because people have done that before. That's how I learned the truth. I've learned the truth by listening to the biggest liar on planet Earth. That's right, Stephen James DeShawn. I've never met somebody, well, I never actually met him, but I never met somebody, talk to him on the phone, FaceTime, text messages, probably hundreds of text messages, at least 10 different phone conversations 4 or 5 years ago. And I never met I never met somebody who lied so much about me specifically. Now, my kid's mom was, she would not like lie about me, but she would definitely I've never been attacked by somebody as much as I have been since my kid's mom. Meaning, like, just mentally attacking and basically accusing, pointing the finger, saying I'm a certain way when it's really the exact opposite, and she was exactly what she was saying that I am. And I feel like it was the same spirit, just in a different person when I started to not agree with SJD. And that was about 5 years ago when I called it quits on that one. So, John from Denver, that character. Well, here's the character to me. It's like a laid back, kind of hangs out at the house a lot, and is a no nonsense, no bullshit kind of a character. Free flows with the curse words. And then the Jacob Israel character is more, kind of stay at home, but but this one's married to the Dan, and this one's more feminine in the character itself. And then it doesn't make sense that you would be Jonathan Kleck 1, 2, and 3. That's the only thing that threw me off, because with John from Denver saying today that Robin Henry T's caught him and he has to come clean because he's been lying the entire time. But we all know he's joking around, right? I've been lying the whole time. I'm actually Jacob Israel behind a mask. Jonathan Kleck 1, 2, and 3. John Quentin Wise. You know the cup when you put a bowl on the table and you have 3 cups and you're shifting them around. It's sort of like that. You could be telling the truth about a few of the characters, but just throwing a few in there too. Like Steve Ben-Nun. I would have never thought that was your character as well. And then, if that's true also, I'm not saying that any of it really is, but if one person is all these characters, is there anybody else on the planet behind the YouTube platform, or is it just you? Because if that's true, then you would have to basically be Like, I don't know, Satan? Wouldn't that be something? I think I'm talking all the... Then you would be Stephen James as well, Derek Burrows. You would just be all of the people that I have come across, and every one of the characters are the characters played out in the Bible, where they're different characters at different times, but it's the same spirit running through all these people, and it's just one big soap opera that was aimed in my direction. Because, I mean, it does make sense that one person would be so many other characters, because, you know, you come in my direction first with the Stephen James Sean character, or Justin Michael character. But how many characters does everybody get? So let's start playing this truth game by kidding around, John. Let's do that, because nobody's gonna believe it anyway. And it may just be me. I may be incapacitated in this bubble. This bubble of the Matrix system, where it's just me. Nothing is real. Even though it feels real, if I get into a car accident, I'm gonna feel it because it's a real feel. But truly, I'm sleeping. I didn't wake up yet until I die. As soon as I die, I'm free, completely. But while I'm in the Matrix now, I'm trying to free myself from it. That way, when I do die, I can be free. So nothing's even real, and it's just basically me and Satan. And it's God has allowed it to happen from birth. And all these other people on this earth, they're all incapacitated too, but they don't know that. They don't know that they're in the Matrix. They don't know that their body is just laying somewhere in some fluid, and they haven't even breathed their first breath yet because they didn't die. And you know, maybe everybody that once you die, you're free from this Matrix, unless you don't know you're in the Matrix. Therefore, why would Satan let you get off the hook if you don't even know what's going on? And you got someone like me telling you, but again, I could just be talking to myself, and none of this is even real. But what would be the point of that if all these souls were just nothing? How accurate, huh? How accurate is it? And then how would you have so much time to be so many characters? Unless you're part of the controllers of the Matrix system. I know Jacob Israel is one of them, but I sure just hope you're not, really. I hope you're just kidding, John, that you're not all those characters. Because it's kind of disappointing to think that, in a way, I'm only talking to one person. Unless that one person has the ability to set the planet free and change the entire system, then, you know, who cares who I'm talking to then? Just as long as you can free up the world, and while I'm stuck in this flesh, make my life a little bit easier. So when does the asteroid hit Philly, and what is it going to look like? Or is it going to be airplanes, Liberty 1 and Liberty 2? Is that really going to happen, or is it too good to be true? At some point, all this has to come to an end. It can't keep happening, because it's nonsense. For me to be up for 6 years, spending so much time tapping into the masters of the universe, but yet nothing benefits me in my life itself. I just have to know that I'm talking to them, and what, I'll see you when I die. That would be disappointing too. It would be disappointing to find out that one person is all these people that I've been paying attention to. And here I am just thinking they're all different people, but it's the same person, Satan. Or it could be Jesus playing around. Because I wonder, what would I do if after this is over and I move on to heaven, and then this repeats and does it again? If I was Jesus, would I play a bunch of characters and come back and find myself and then talk to me in the future as I'm here now, hopping in different face masks? I just can't see myself being John Quentin Wise III. And I couldn't see Jesus playing that character. I can see, well, I mean, you know, even I hopped into a Joe Biden suit. It's really no different. A blithering idiot stumbling over with his evil eye. It's just that character is so perfectly irritating. And I played the Trump character. But you knew it was me, though. That's the thing. That's the only difference. So I wasn't trying to deceive anybody. So then that would have to be Satan. Satan would be the one who hops in the professional mask and has a bunch of different channels and tries to deceive people into believing that that person is specifically just that person, and then the other person. But truly, John from Denver is probably John Denver. I'm sure you've sung songs. You're probably a certain basketball NBA player, or a football quarterback or something, right? Because there's always been at least one person this entire time that has stayed in direct communication with me for 6 years. The very beginning was Justin Michael. Pretty much was the one that stepped up. He put his face in front of the camera and said, "I'm a real person, here I am." And then I went and even met him in Pittsburgh, and I didn't even really tell him I was going. I just kind of implied that I was going to head up there at some point, and because I thought if I didn't say anything out loud, the gang stalkers wouldn't know where I'm going. Boy, was I deceived. I was going to one of the leading gang stalking commanders to meet him personally, face to face. But when will he ever say that? Will he ever tell the truth? I don't think that character will come clean just yet. But I like the John from Denver character. I don't really like your other character, Jacob Israel. If that's your other character. One of the John Clecks isn't a favorite because I've felt threats from the spirit as he showed a similarity of my head chopped off to the side. So, but there's there's the Jonathan Clegg, the most recent one. I really love that one. And because that one sounded more like the Mother Earth type, because it's a face of a man, hair like woman, tail like a scorpion. Stephen James, I had mixed emotions about that character, because in the beginning I just thought he was like a branch of Harold Camping. I thought, all right, well, I guess this is the Messiah then, huh? He coming in all poor and suffering, and I stuck by his side for 6 years, even though he talked so much trash, lied about me through his teeth, and I never left. I've watched every video, I've displayed them on my channel, and then according to the script, he's getting ready to rebuild his house in troublous times, because apparently the night that I said it's time for people to start to donate to Stephen James to help him financially, the next day he gets some seeds sent for some Kush marijuana seeds, and then his father dies at the exact time that I was born, at 11:30, and being rich and leaving an inheritance for your children. So now Steve is set for life. He doesn't need money. So let's see what he does with that. He's gonna rebuild his house, and I don't know, maybe he might leave it to me. Maybe I'm actually his son, and that's why he paid attention to me from the beginning. And that's him in my baby picture drawn in behind me. One of the government agents that's resting on my shoulder. I mean, who knows? I could be a son of a man. And my family now is just adopted. But nobody will tell me the truth because they can't. But then wouldn't that be something? Because they would all wonder, well, how does Robin know all this truth that we can't admit to? The Lord told me. So until the day that Philadelphia is destroyed by the exact same way I said it'll be hit, how am I going to get the attention of the rest of the world? I can only get the attention of the masters of the universe first. When does it trickle down to, I'm no longer, like even talking to my boss yesterday for a moment about just Israel, the war coming, and he's like, oh, he doesn't particularly like that, because that means that would be the collapse of money. But I did say you should probably buy a farm close by for when the economy collapses, starting right here in Philly. You'll be self-sufficient. Right now that has proven to be true. The house is redone completely. The farmhouse, I gutted the entire thing for months. He kept me busy, just demolition, gutting it, everything. Me and my brother Billy. And then, as of yesterday, I pretty much finished the last part that I needed to do. And then he's having an open party house on the 29th of October. So that would be great if October 21st, the events start in Philly, and it's like the second 9/11, unless if it waits until the 9th of Av, 11/9 this year. But even if it's the supposed asteroid that's coming to hit 17th and JFK, and it's on the money, the $50 bill, the back of it, I would have such a presentation for the people that are there. And I'll take my computer real quick, I'll put a video together before I get there, and I'll plug it into the big screen TV in the living room, and I'll say, here, watch this. Then, once I get everybody's attention with such a precise, dead-on accurate prediction of 17th and JFK, because you'll see the smoke coming out from the 3rd floor, and it's Harold Camping's world, and I'll go over how I met Jonathan Kleck there briefly, October 21st, 2020, how it was a continual thing. Once that's so deadly accurate and I have everybody's attention, and it's no longer Robin, the conspiracy theorist, weirdo. It's more like the God of the universe showed this to me. So I'm going to show it to you. Look, here's evidence that the God of the universe showed me what was going to happen. Now listen up. How can I not get everybody's attention that way and start taking me seriously? And all I'm trying to do is get people to be free and share. If you're rich, share. If you have plenty, then give it. What are you storing it up for? And it would start, with the people I know. It would start with freeing my life up. Once I can get my life to be freed up by rich people, that's the beginning of it right there. And then I would proceed to show you that YouTube has used my footage from 30 years prior, and I'm that guy. There I am, right there. That's me. YouTube surrounded their entire videos that I made that day on my footage, and they did it 30 years beforehand. So then I'm going to take people into a dimension that they've never thought was even possible, and I'm going to prove it to them that it is. So it's just a way of rearranging your spirit and casting out doubt and getting rid of the devil. That's how I'm going to do it. But in the meantime, it's wake up, go to work. Work, work, work. What do you do at work? I just kill time. I'm a time killer. I used to race against time when I did work that was like subcontracting, because it's all about what you're doing there. When you're punching the clock, you're just punching the clock. Even the bosses understand it. It's like, you can't really get people to move super quick. I do my job, but it's not the most interesting thing to do. I'd rather be sitting at home behind a computer getting paid to show you the truth and the accumulation of information for the past 6 years and 6 months and 6 days until the bomb dropped and hit on Israel. I'd rather show you that stuff. I'd rather drive from state to state to meet all the characters, even if you're just one character. Like John from Denver, I'll go meet you, and then I'll go and meet your other character, Jacob Israel in New York, and you'll be there in that character. But would you really be there? Because I did meet Justin Michael, but I don't know, the face may have been, I didn't think of it before, because how you say you got a plate in your face? That could have just been an excuse for why your face mask doesn't move as well. And then boldly, I come to think of it with him too, maybe it's just the way he talked, but he talked with like a lot of hot air in his mouth, and it just seemed like he was puffing air out because his cheeks wouldn't really move. They were kind of stiff. But I never thought of him being a mask before. I never thought of anybody being a mask, or even a female, let alone a mask. My goodness. Steve Benoon's been showing Justin Michael lately 2 of his characters. One of them's a female, has the same eyeballs. Another one is a male that came up, started talking again. Tovia Singer has the same eyeballs as Justin Michael, the same eye stare look. So I've concluded that that's who he is. But I don't have any proof. I'm just accusing him of being that. And what does it hurt me if I'm wrong? It doesn't. Because there used to be a devil that would tell me these things that I'd better not say, because I'm gonna look a certain way to certain people. I don't care. I care not. So John from Denver, when do I truly, when am I free? If you're all those characters, you got all that money because Jacob Israel, the amount of views that he gets, the monetization, the all the stuff he sells, and Steve Benoon, every video, he reminds all of you guys to tithe your money to him. I don't believe he's actually talking to regular people. He's just reminding everybody that he basically hired to pay up. And he reminds me of Paul collecting money. Now, Stephen James reminded me of that too, but he was more like a denier, like a Peter type. And he came before Paul. So Peter was before Paul in the scene. But also Jonathan Click reminds me of Peter and Paul, both of them, one and the other. There's St. Peter and Paul Basilica in Philly. The main church right there, the dead center, Logan Square. Gene Revel was Stephen James Deshawn in another voice. So I wonder, John from Denver, are you going to say that you're Stephen James Deshawn too, and Gene Revel? Because if you say you're Gene Revel, then you're saying you're Stephen James. Now, I haven't really concluded if John Quentin Wise is actually Stephen James, because they kind of have like the same threats towards me. But John Quentin Wise is really implying that he's you. So that's where it gets a little mixed up. And that he's Stephen James. I can't wait for the day that John from Denver, he takes all of the mask that he has, all the characters, and he does a live stream. And what he does is he'll take off his face mask, and then Jacob Israel will be underneath of it. And then he takes the Jacob Israel one off, and then John Quentin Wise will be under that one. And then so on and so forth until you finally get down to your actual reptilian lizard face. And then that's what will scare the living shit out of people, because you're really a reptilian lizard king, tyrant lizard king, Barack Obama. And then the earth, and then everybody starts to take their mask off, and they just walk around, and then it's like, you guys are just, just be yourself. Be your true self. Take off the mask and be who you are. Why would you be hiding from us humans anyway? We're the ones that would be afraid of you. Ah, man, something needs to change. What is it, October 16th or 15th? Man, that would be so great if that was 17th of JFK right now. Because it's in the area, sort of. Where the bomb drops. But that's just some kind of, I think it's some plant. I don't know, I mean, I haven't seen it. I've never seen that smoked so much from a plant. Because it sure looks like some kind of a fire, doesn't it? At some point, Philadelphia's going to look like that down Center City. Or is it another portion of the bridge? Oh yeah. The second 9/11 happened in Philly. The Phillies. If that happens, the Phillies are going to win the World Series, because it's going to be a way of because the Phillies are. I haven't even watched a game or a second of anything, except for unless it was on TV at a restaurant. The script would be the Phillies regardless of what day. I think the last there's 4 teams left, right? And at the very end, the World Series would start at the beginning of November. So with November 9th being 9/11, the 9th of Av, oh man, it would make so much sense that Philly gets hit with the 9/11, and then to do like the comeback type of underdog, in your face, make people feel better about themselves. The Philadelphia Phillies wins the Super Bowl or the World Series to start the comeback of Philadelphia, and it'll be like Philadelphia strong, like the Boston strong and all that. Nah, just a false alarm. It was only the power plant smoking up like that. Think about how many people are going to work right now hating their job. Hating it. I mean, just absolutely hating their job. They're miserable, they're tired, they'd rather be sleeping right now. When I start one of my businesses, RobinHoodzDzyn, I'm gonna have a big, humongous open factory with a lot of land. It's gonna be huge. And the people that I have work for me, each person has their own bed to take a power nap on. You get an hour power nap, around lunchtime or so. You can eat your lunch and then take a nap. And I don't subtract your time for taking your nap. That's just part of the job requirement. If you work for me, you don't have to, but it's required to rest. That way you can get re-energized for the rest of the day. And that's only if you're working more than half the day, because I would just have half day shifts, and you get paid twice the amount that you used to get paid for whatever job you had before, that you had to work 8 hours. But that's my kind of a company. You work half the time and you get twice the amount, and you get to take a nap. Even if you just work half the day and you want to take a nap and then go home, can you imagine how much energy everybody would have if they were allowed to take an hour nap and get paid for it while they're at work? To know that you're getting paid to sleep and rest because I want you to feel good about yourself, because I don't need money, so that's why I would give that portion, and that's part of your job. The requirement is to rest. That way you can be energized for the rest of the day. And you put in your half a days of your 4 hours of work. Oh, and you'll be making fiberglass, metal, plastic, whatever, hoods, ground effect kits. You'll be part of the design team. You can help me design the stuff. Your idea. If it sounds good, I'll use it. And that's just one of the businesses that I'll have. And it'll be about automobiles. It'll be about hooking them up. I'll have samples of the newest cars, the newest Lamborghini, the newest Ferrari, the newest Corvette. I'm gonna put my kits on their cars. Some of the cars already come bad as hell anyway. There's nothing, you can't even do anything to it. But there's the basic, there's also the basic models, and the basic models are the ones that I make full body kits for, from head to toe, including the rims. It's kind of like an East Coast Customs. Like Ryan from West Coast Customs. It's kind of something like that, because I think my ideas are just as good, if not some things are better. I just don't have the means to do it. But Ryan has some pretty good ideas with it, the stuff that he does, the people he has working for him. And that's the kind of people I would hire, is the ones that want to do that. And you get paid so damn good, and you get the rest. And no matter where you live, you don't have to pay for gas, because you get a company Lamborghini to come to work. Things like that. Like, I would really take care of my employees, because why not? Isn't that the way it is in heaven? I'm just a dreamer down here on earth, dreaming things up. I just don't know why people don't do that anyway. I guess because they're greedy. Selfish, greedy. I mean, why not? If you have the funds, take care of your employees. They're the ones that got you to where you're at. Or if you're already where you're at, maybe you were just born into money, a family. You've always had. You never had a bad day in your life. And you'll never have a bad day in your life. Take care of your people. But that's not going to happen until Philly has a little bit of strength. As soon as Philadelphia has a little bit of strength, and it's the same little bit of strength that I'm talking about at the exact landmarks, 17th and JFK and Liberty 1 and 2, and topping it off at the William Penn building, which is like a V for Vendetta. I'll have everybody's attention. There's no more, oh man, all right, Robin. There's no more of that. It's going to be more like, what else? You know how people would stand right there, be holding their ears wide open instead of walking away, rolling their eyes. No more rolling your eyes when I talk. Because all I want to do is free you from the spirit that's tormenting you, the same one that used to torment me. And I'm broke. I mean, I'm pretty much broke, really, even though I work every day. But it's just the cost of living is sickening, and it just keeps going up and up, and insurance going up and higher up, and I'm just lucky that my rent didn't go up. But it's only because I've been there for so long, and I'm a good tenant, and I pay my rent, and I'm never late, and so far, so 12 years at the same place. Yeah, sure, I paid the house off already, but it's not even mine. So when is that one day that I am absolutely free? That would have to be when Philadelphia gets hit. The first people that get hired at my corporation are my subs. Whoever wants a job, you've been paying attention to me for what, at least the past year? Especially the past year. Yep. I got the greatest retirement pension plan too. You get a company badass car that's hooked up RT Customs style to drive back and forth to work. Gas paid and everything. You have a cot to take a nap, to sleep. You can work overtime. I paid 3 times and a half. I don't just pay time and a half. If I'll start you out at $50 an hour, right? If you work overtime, you'll get paid $175 an hour. I think that comes out to, right? 3 times and a half. I don't play around when it comes to money because I don't need it. Yikes. That is a belly. Yikes. There must be some children in there. Alright, enough of my dreaming. When is it going to come true? Tell me.